didn't have much luxury, that we didn't feel we needed it.
So then, what were some of looking back on things? What are some of the low points in life? What were some of the hard times?
But the hard times was when my dad passed a lot of blood, and I knew there was a lot wrong that had to be corrected. That he got to the hospital. Before that, he was a very active person and could take care of himself and help himself. After that, he had cancer, I guess, in the bladder, and and then and then he had cataracts in his eyes. We had an appointment to have those cataracts removed. When it happened that he passed the blood and had to go to the hospital, so he never got that done. He it he was between life and death when he had that operation then. And I often thought it would have been a blessing if he could have gone then, if they hadn't saved him then. But he pulled through, but it was rough going. But he did then pull through. But then he never got that operation with his eyes to have the cataract. So he was blind from then on, and and that and that was unfortunate. Before that, he used to find things to do that he enjoyed. Even he walked a lot and stuff. But no matter well, it was just walking, no matter what he did, it brought contentment to himself. Then after that, um, he never talked. After he and I guess that was something that I regretted the rest of my life. That when he had to go to the hospital all that time, when he had passed all that blood, and I knew there was a big problem, he got in the hospital, and but then I can't remember whether we still had those children at home. I think Sam. Oh yes, Sam, and my uncle Raymond lived with us, and they went to work up at Bethlehem Steel. I think they left at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I know that I was occupied with making meals and attending the family, and I used to run down to the hospital. I didn't have a lot of time, and I used to go down, and then he was just laying there, quiet.
Sure.
And I never tried to wake him or anything. I just would look at him and see that he was laying there quiet, and that's the way. And then I'd go again because I had to hurry home. I never had a whole lot of time. I was always in a hurry. And he never knew, he didn't know that I was there, that I kept on visiting. He didn't know that. Now, Mildred used to go, and she used to talk to him. And afterward, that's a part that I regretted, like everything, that I didn't let him know that I was there and talk to him. I used to go and see that he was laying there and just didn't know anything. And I'd come and look at him and then go again and didn't say anything. And I regretted that always. Well, anyhow, then one time I got there and the bed was empty, and I looked down on the floor, and there he lay on the floor. He had fallen out of bed. He tried to get out of bed. That was when he was hospitalized, and he had tried to get out of bed, and I don't. I think they had something up the sides of his bed because he crawled out over the top and then went down over and then fell and went down over. And then when I got there, he was just laying there flat, quiet, laying there. I didn't know whether he was living or not.
Oh, sure.
And and then when I saw this, I said, "Oh," or something like that. And the lady in the bed heard me, and I said, "That's my dad on the floor." And she was a big, strong woman, and she got up and reached down and picked him up in her two arms. She just reached down and scooped him up and laid him back on the bed again. And I went and called the doctor.
Sure.
And they came and got him up. He had some hurt. He had by falling, going over the top like that and falling. He was hurt. Anyhow. And they took him and they fixed him up and everything. But I never got to talk to him or say a word to him, but they fixed him up. And so then after he was there a certain length of time, they said word to me that they were ready to move him either to a nursing home or bring him home. Then I said they should bring him home and I would take care of him. So they did. They brought him home. But he never talked. He never said a word from the time he came home. And I just took care of him. I never said anything either. I just took care of him. He just lay like dazed. And that's the way he was till he died. And that was about a month later. Now, they didn't... when I remember... When I called the doctor... They didn't expect him to live a month at all. They were so surprised that he lived that long. And during all that time, they had stuff in him. He hadn't a bit of food all that month that he lived there at home. He just lay there, and I would try to pick him up partly, and then his eyes. Well, he had these cataracts, and then his eyes were glazed shut anyhow. And I couldn't honestly know when he was knew enough that he knew what was going on or
Sure.
anything. Well, anything. That went for a month before he died, and that's the way it was.
Wow.
So that last month was sort of sad.
That would definitely be a dark period of your...
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
So that was another part of life.
Sure.
But then he was almost 91.
Mm-hmm.
And so fragile. Oh my goodness, it was hard to really handle him or anything. He was so thin and just bones and.
Sure.
Another one of those parts of life that were hard to go through when you were going through it.
Sure. That sounds like that would be very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause here for a second, if that's okay, and go use the restroom.
Sure.
I'll be right back.